3.5 hours. God damn. We're the last one. Let's get this over with. We have cookie cutters as a final SCP of today. I like this one, but compared to a man who wasn't, it's just not fair. Yeah, I think they're really high above the ones I read so far. But yeah, I think it's just like how cute it is. It's a cute one versus a tragic one. So whatever tickles your fancy more. Alright guys, cookie cutters, secure the subscribe button, contain the like button, and protect the comment section because we are the last one. Please be short. Please be short. Oh, it is. Okay, good. And by the way, Spiegel, stay for the end because we're gonna have a list, a ratings list of top enjoyment to lesser top enjoyment. I don't like saying not enjoyed because that's not true. So there's just like ones I really enjoyed and one I just enjoyed, basically. Okay, Euclid. The area surrounding -1 has been purchased and fenced off by the Foundation for the purpose of on-site containment. Entrance into an experimentation with -2 may only be performed with prior permission from at least one level 3 senior researcher, and objects may only be removed from -2 with prior permission from at least one level 4 site director. All unauthorized individuals attempt to gain access to -1 are to be detained, questioned, and administered a Class B amnestic, if deemed necessary by on-site security personnel. -1 is an unmarked single-lane section of pavement connected to a rural access road located 53 kilometers west of Redacted, Utah that extends for 31 meters before terminating in a dense copse of gamble oak, Quercus gambelli trees. This road section is not listed on any civilian maps, nor does any information regarding its construction or purpose exist in any official records. When transiting from north to south through the trees, -1 appears to act as a standing portal to -2. -2 is an extra-dimensional space extending in all directions around an identical copse of Q Gambelli and is filled with instances of -3. Atmospheric composition within -2 appears to be consistent with that of the area outside of -1. And the time of day as measured by the position of the sun is identical. However, the ambient temperature, despite varying throughout the day-night cycle, remains consistent with that of late spring or early summer season, regardless of the actual time of year. So if you go in there at winter, you come out here and it's like spring and summer season. Through the use of an unmanned aerial vehicle, it has been determined that the curvature of the surface of -2 is consistent with that of the Earth, but expedition to date has discovered no geological features or variation in the layout of -2, extending for at least 400 kilometers in each direction. Global position, satellite, and navigation does not function, nor do radio signals extend into -2. Communication with expedition teams is possible only via stationary transceiver connected via hardline to -1 installed by Foundation personnel. No signal other than regular background radiation have ever been detected within -1. Is it called cookie cutter because it looks like in the forest that like a chunk just is gone? Because that's the gun that's in our world. Kind of like how you have a tray full of like dough and then you put like a circle of cookie cutter in it and then you like wiggle and take it out. So there's like now just a hole there. And then you put it on a different tray and that tray is now... So basically all the trees in the road that's not supposed to be there came from this dimension to our dimension. -3 is a series of houses built in the American ranch or rambler style with identical single floor, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom floor plans extending in all directions from the point of entry of pocket dimension. Yeah, exactly, yeah. -2. Well, maybe not a pocket dimension, I think it's just like, it literally is 2 different dimensions, isn't it? Like, because I think, because -1 is definitely a portal to -2. And -2 is like Earth, but it's a little bit different. because like the season stays constant, and there's like no, it's just woods for 400 kilometers, which is fucking, that's a big, massive amount of forest. Each instance is built on identical 850 meter square lots, but possess a significant variation in color, decor, and furnishing in a pristine state consistent with that expected of a new home, prepped and ready for move-in. Instances are unpowered and do not have running water. It is not known how the lawns of Dash-3 instances, determined through experimentation to be normal, poor, pretensis Kentucky bluegrass, remain healthy and immaculate despite the lack of irrigation or groundskeeping. No entities have ever been encountered in Dash-2 since its discovery. However, periodically one or more instances of Dash-3 will disappear when unobserved and be replaced by a new instance of a period of 24 to 72 hours. Dating of materials within Dash-3 indicates that the oldest instances are approximately 80 to 90 years old. So, since we now know Dash-3 is a series of house, suddenly a moment a house vanishes and then reappears again. Well, it doesn't reappear again. A new house shows up. Okay, and then in 1, log of notable Dash-3 instances. Ref number, okay. -3, -108, -A. 1. Oldest and it would be great to know the earliest. Yeah, right. Probably the earliest is whatever time they visited the dimension and whatever the house is replaced with, I assume. Because I guess that would count as like 0 seconds. To know if this is a time freeze type thing, yeah. So 1.4 kilometers northeast of Dash-2 entrance. Instance was decorated in a cottage style but with a large amount of Nordic religious iconography. All text found appear to be in an as of yet unknown script. Note, instance demanifested on and was replaced 48 hours later by an unremarkable instance in French country decor. But it's interesting, so nobody lives there, but I wonder what causes the houses to vanish. What's the reason why the houses vanishes and reappear as different ones? -3 -322 -C, 2.8 kilometers due east of entrance. Instance was of a normal dimension but contained modern furnishing and appliances of unusually large sizes. Baseline measurements suggest that the home would have been intended for occupants standing approximately 2.5 to 2.8 meters in height. Those are some tall boys and girls. -3 -488 -B, 1.9 kilometer west-southwest of entrance. Instance was unfurnished with bare walls and floor, but field personnel reported a strong feeling of well-being when inside. Instance remained at its location for only 3 days, and the shortest duration of any -3 instance before disappearing. The lot on which it was located is still empty after 4 months of periodic observation. I'm trying to figure out like if those houses are being pulled somewhere, like if they're being like teleported or like just like yeah, if there's like some being that just like pulls them from this reality to another reality and it's like, oh, here's your house. Like I wonder if like this as you said, pocket dimension is a place where some higher being is storing a bunch of houses that it's just like can pull out from. Like, oh, here's a house with Spanish windows and giant couch because you're a massive fellow. Or here's this house for fucking fairies. And it's just like, just kind of like pulls them out of this reality. I don't know. -3 -618 -D, 5.3 kilometer northwest of entrance. Instance was decorated in college-style furnishing and paint that appeared to be completely black, with subsequent experimentation showing decorative patterns that were only visible in ultraviolet. By the way, Hannah loves Starbucks is somebody that followed me and I didn't even realize. Because I didn't. Wait, hold on. Did my alert not work? Does my follow alert not work? It should work. Because okay, hold on now. Now I'm confused because somebody followed me on here and I didn't even realize this whole time. That's weird. Let me just do a real quick. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Like paradise, ideally being maybe hinting to a sublime state of man reaching heights of 2.5 meters due to optimal nutrition. I'm not sure if that's the case, but I think because at the end only one house was like that. Like every house seems to accommodate something different. Some different need or some different. Because I'm not sure if it's aiming to please a certain type of race. Sorry, I just gotta do a real quick test. Okay, it works. Weird that I didn't hear the follow from Hannah Loves Starbucks 4 hours ago. Maybe they followed me before I could go online. Yeah. Where's my SCP stuff? Here we go. Alright then. Where were we? Instance was decorated in college style furnishing and paint that appeared to be completely black, with subsequent experimentation showing decorative patterns that were only visible in ultraviolet wavelengths. Personnel performing experiments within Instance reported mild nausea and disorienting. That song slaps. Carry on, Lamel. Thank you. Like that was just that's just my follow notification. But of course, it's my favorite Sonic song. I will always. Let me guess, you followed. Thank you so much for the follow, my friend. I'm glad you. Welcome to the Fluff. Welcome to the Fluff. Glad to have you, bro. This only stemming from some form of sensory confusion. During debriefing, personnel reported that the angles felt all wrong. Despite a lack of cooperation from measurement taken during initial survey, affected personnel were quarantined for safety but were covered fully and returned to duty without incident. Experiment record. On a series of GPS tracking units were placed within several instances of -3 in an attempt to test the hypothesis that instances of -3 were being displaced to real-world locations. As I was saying, yeah, like maybe that's what's happening. Somebody's like taking these things and placing them somewhere. Now, if it's like in our world, we don't know. But maybe a different reality. Maybe somebody's like storing a bunch of random-ass architectural houses and then just like places them somewhere else. Like a wormhole type thing, yeah. As of 6 out of the original 30 instances designated for tracking have demanifested, but the GPS units placed within them have yet to be found. Okay, so they couldn't keep track of the GPS, which indicates that it's definitely not their reality that the houses go to. And then in 3, incident log. On following extensive testing of material samples that collected from -3 instances, the following printed note was discovered near the entrance to -2. To whom it may concern, I don't know how you guys got in here and you're free to keep looking around, but please stop damaging the merchandise. Your cooperation is appreciated. The management. P.S. You break it, you buy it. So it is somebody selling the houses. Somehow. Shortly after this incident, Foundation Administration discovered an unexplained side budget shortfall in the amount of... That's definitely the millions. Further sampling and recovery requests have been suspended pending further investigation. All the realities within a time where these guys are not able to reach. That could also be, right? That could also be. That was the last one. Alright, let me just get the let me just put that in a place. Here we go. And here we have them. So, for me, it was very tough decision. The Man That Wasn't and Literature Birds for me were neck and neck when it came to like how much I enjoyed them. I think if it's all time and no space, the location, yeah, that could also be. At the end, like, I think it's definitely like a pocket dimension, as you said, but I also think it's a different reality that this thing, the houses are being pulled to. But yeah, The Man That Wasn't and Literature Birds, very tough call for me because I feel like The Man That Wasn't had really deep, makes you really like think. It has like some deep topics about like as you said, Spiegel, identity, but also like it's also such a scary thought of like if I don't get attention or if I don't make myself known, I vanish from the world. There's like so many things that in our world nowadays that you could actually associate that with. Like for example, how like a lot of social media stars, they thrive on attention, right? And if they don't get attention, they cease to exist, and from what they want to do. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. Like if you don't give them attention, then their existence ceases away. That's like another way to see it. That of course this guy has to physically deal with it because like he will vanish if you're not careful. But I'm also wondering if the whole thing, like, oh, he will vanish, like if that's like if he will, when it said fade away, if it meant like physically, like he's like he actually goes invisible and then like ceases to exist, or just people just don't realize he's there anymore. Like he's still physically there, but people just don't know he's there. For me, The Man Who Wasn't has a league above the rest. It hinted toward deeper topics. It felt like a piece of high literature, not accompanied by deep analysis, but it's made stronger by analysis like that. There you go. And I think that's a valid reason to have it above the rest. That's a very valid reason. Literature Birds, I adored the fact that those little birds, like as The Man That Wasn't was a dark story with deeper meanings behind it. Literature Birds was a cute, it's just very cute and just uplifting little idea. At the end, there's still some little sadness in there because they're hurting themselves. They can get infected, they can get sick, they can die from it. But it's just like such a silly concept that they are writing a book that they read, and the fact that they just want to get it out there. They just want to write the book in perfection. They both have a bit of a curse on themselves that one needs attention to stay alive, and one wants to just get what's in their head out, because if they don't, they suffer. But yeah, no, I think I enjoyed them both so much. House of the Worm, you weren't here, Spiegel, but like that was definitely like the longest SCP I had to read, and I think what made it fascinating is the whole side story of this one human being that survived the First World War, and then had this like vision of this metallic worm that wants to eat people, and so he built this whole construction to keep his children and his wife safe, just to find out that his wife despises him for doing that they travel to a dimension that they cannot live in. Everything he's done was meant to protect his family from this vision of a giant worm that is supposed to feast upon them, just to end up that the worm was never actually a thing, and that the house he built became the monster itself, and he himself became the monster he feared, and everything he wanted to protect, he lost. It's a tragic story, like story of like obsession that had a good moral reason, becoming the downfall of a man. I think that's why it's like, I would say that it's a good second. Pond of Atrocities, I think I like that one because like it's just very silly. At the end, again, the things it asks of you might not be silly. It might be actually very dark. But it's still like the things it wants to do in you, in what order, in what way, are still funny. I wish there was actually more examples of what it asks of you. Just so like, if that was the case, I would have definitely put it above House of the Worm if it gave me like 5 more examples of like, this is what this pond wants for you to do. Because the first section was kind of a bit weird, like, oh yeah, all the people who look into the pond, they can recollect that there were multiple people with the same memory, same experience. I'm like, yeah, that's fair enough, but I already had an SCP just recently about a guy, 4 guys who are identical to each other, that share each other's memories. I don't need another thing that just has to do with memory sharing. So the Pond of Atrocities surprised me with this whole like, hey, you have to kill 9 children on the 9th, on 9.9 a.m. on 999. I'm like, that's so specific and so dumb, but I love that. Dreamwalker, yeah, I think that's just a very good SCP to start off with the stream. We have a guy who's in a coma, but everybody thinks he is not at all in a coma, and they cannot even recollect the time that they picked him up and all that stuff. And everybody just thinks he's awake and walking around, but he isn't. His actual body is still there. And if you try to influence the physical body, then everybody who is close to him that has been affected by this other version of him will have some high level of confusion. I think it's a very interesting concept, and it's like kind of like a shadow clone that just took over your life. The birds were sweet, they were cute and tragic. It was a nice read. It was surely a bittersweet story. It works well as a story, but I cannot underestimate the effect that The Man Who Wasn't made me feel. This might be my literal bias shining through, but for me it's no competition, so I'm just ruining at this point. Hey, go off. Do what you do it. Like, I love the fact that I read an SCP today that made you feel that way. Because I could have read all these 10 and you'd be like, yeah, none of this really hit me. I don't like any of these. So I'm glad that one of them hit you that well, and made you just feel these moments. So don't worry about ruining. Don't worry about wanting to talk about it more. I'm down for that. I'm just going to quickly do the rest of these. Renewable energy source. The fact that a bunch of people were like, hey, we can try to make these fruits into petrol so that people can just grow their own petrol at home by having like a tomato farm that's actually made out of petrol. All you gotta do is blend it and then put it in your car. Kind of funny idea, but then of course somebody fucked up. And now we have a virus going around that makes every plant and animal have petrol for the natural fluids. And so the animals are fucking dying, and the trees, they now combust and spread wildfire way too fast. So, good idea, but poor execution. Photographers, thaumaturgs. Hey, yo, bro, you want to have a seizure? What now? So, again, even though that's on the lower side of the enjoyment rating, I do like that for once the SCP Foundation are not the one who have these theory or answers to what this SCP can do. It is the actual SCP itself that gave what she can do out. That's very rare. I think that's the first time we had that with the SCP. It's like, no, I can do this. This is what I've been. She was a SCP Foundation researcher before the SCP Foundation was involved, which is funny. It's very interesting to me that was a thing that could happen, because I never thought it would. She did all the tests and all the things that for them ahead of time. Comprehension, evasion. It was very complicatedly written, but I do like the reason why it was complicatedly written is because it's meant to make you not. This is what's cool. Even though if you read through it, it may not make any sense. It may not make any it may not be easy to read. But that's the whole point, because the whole log is written as if you were a person. Oh wait, the whole log is read as if you were a person being attacked by this SCP. So you're reading a log that is nonsensical, that makes you distract yourself from it, and that's how you avoid it. That's how you evade it. So it makes sense that the log itself does never actually talk about the SCP itself, and that the log itself is so overly convoluted. Because like you are busting your brains trying to figure out what the hell it's trying to say. By the time you finish the log, you completely forgot that the SCP is even a thing. So I like that. That's how you use the log itself to make the SCP feel more impactful. The Goldbust story was written in a way that was very, very skilled, maybe too skilled on the technical part. It felt like a real technical paper, realistic but not engaging, sadly. That's exactly why I put it on the bottom, because I think if I was able to understand a lot of the Goldbust story, Goldbust conjecture and theory, and how that all worked, I think I would praise it a lot more. I think I would put it a lot higher in the enjoyment rating, but right now, I'm a regular ass dude. I think I'm just averagely smart. So, and for anybody who's not at all into anything like that, this will be a very tough SCP to get into, or start off with to begin with, and all that stuff. I mean, nobody's gonna start off with fucking 1466. Nobody's gonna start off with that one, but I think a lot more computer science people will appreciate this compared to me. I think they should give it a read, and if they don't like it, they don't like it. At the end, maybe it's just written in such a way that people cannot really get behind it. But yeah, no, that's it. I'm done, and that was a good time. I'm just gonna stop the recording because I still want to talk to you a little bit more.